Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Debate Club. So, the Debate Club is a platform where we engage in healthy debates and discussions every week. So, the topic for this week is arranged marriages are detrimental to a happily married life. Agree or disagree? Proponents who agree that arranged marriages may be detrimental to one's happily wedded life argue that there is a lack of autonomy in such marriages as people may feel pressured to go for spouses. Those who are engaged in arranged marriages may face some sort of coercion from their family, and there is also a concern of compatibility, as in most cases, partners in arranged marriages are chosen because of social economic factors or religious or cultural factors and not based on compatibility or understanding or aligning of values, and hence this may lead to a higher risk of being unhappy inside of the marriages. And then there is generational and cultural misalignment. Usually, what happens inside of an arranged marriage is that the elders of the family search for and pick out the spouse for the person who is about to be wedded. And what the person who is about to get married may want may not be the same as what the elders may want. And this is due to the prevailing generational gap that there is inside of any specific family. And of course, in case this is not a very common case, but it is not as rare either. So there is a scope for coercion inside of arranged marriages. So there may be coercion to marry a certain partner, even though you may not want to marry them. And there are higher stakes for women because we are a patriarchal society, and women are often the ones who bear the brunt inside such marriages. On the other hand, there are also people who disagree that arranged marriages are not detrimental to one's happily wedded life. And for this cause, there are arguments that there is family involvement and support in tough times for both the partners, as partners and their families are there for each other. Let's say that there is some kind of financial uh, difficulty going on. So there is some sort of family involvement and support usually seen in arranged marriages, as both families come together and support the couple. And since arranged marriages are based on cultural and societal alignment, people from similar backgrounds end up wedded, and this kind of makes them uh, people who have similar mindsets or similar backgrounds, which makes them kind of compatible. And then, unlike in love marriages, people argue that the emphasis in arranged marriages is on commitment and not fleeting emotions. Like this could be in reference to love or attraction or the spark, as you call it. And statistically, there are lower divorce rates when talking about arranged marriages, and compatibility inside of such marriages is based on practical factors, not just emotional or romantic connections. So basically, here compatibility majorly depends upon the background of both the spouses, like their education, the career, the financial stability, the kind of upbringing they've had. And then there is a reduction of social pressure in such marriages. So basically, in India, I think there is a lot of pressure around finding a partner in love or arranged marriages. So if we talk specifically about arranged marriages, the pressure is kind of reduced on both the partners, since the family is doing the searching and selecting of the partner. So with that context in place, I will now declare the floor open for debate, and people who wish to speak will have to raise their hands using the reaction button. Also, please remember to keep your eyes on the timer while you speak. Uday, please go on.
Thank you, Rose. So, arranged marriage or love marriage. So, today's topic, I want to say that my opinion is slightly towards love marriages. I totally disagree with arranged marriage or the settlements that are seen. Well, the reason behind is my reasons behind that is because most of the time in we have seen in arranged marriages is that uh, l- uh, let's say why love marriages are better for me. Because in love marriages, we've seen that both the partners know each other. They are acquainted with both habits, liking, disliking. They are familiar with each other. There's so many problems in love marriage also, but uh, basically they both of them knows each other. They understand each other, and they have a understanding about both likings and dislikings. And what happens in arranged marriage is that they are in certain pressure of society, of families, uh, and usually it is seen that in arranged marriages, one person have to uh, one in both the partners, one person have to let go something or to be in pressurized form. Mostly it is seen in girls that girls are always compromised. Their likings, their dislikings, their comfort, uh, the, their we can say that their opinion is not taken. We are talking about overall society, not talking about the it's like a, urban settlements. We are talking about entire India, where mostly the arranged marriages is performed, where girl is always compromised. Uh, we have seen in many places that they are not even asked before marriage. They are their marriage is just their marriages are predetermined by their elders. How can you marry someone? I think this is my personal opinion that a person's life, 99% of person's life is dependent upon two decisions that he takes. The first decision is what is his work, and second decision in whom he is marrying or whom she is marrying. So your work and your marriage both are one of the most important decisions of your life. 99% of your life depends upon those two decisions. If one of the these two decisions is wrong, your entire life will be misery. So personally, I think that love marriages are better because at least you know the person. You can presume that after marriage, I can presume that this person will be behaving like this, or he has this kind of liking or disliking. I think arranged marriages are like just a gamble where you just presume that he or she. There's also another fact that 99% of the marriages are done in the same caste, same religion, and they're not seeing the, let's say, both profession. If I'm a doctor, I would like to have a marriage with a girl who is a doctor or in a similar field. But in arranged marriages, these things are totally avoided. They are fact is that they are only marrying the same caste girl, while they should be marrying a same profession girl or a girl with the same liking or a future goal or their uh, point of view towards life of the person should be compatible. At the end, eventually, this is a contract. This is a this marriage is a relation of a two persons. Society have a say, but not that big a say that they, that changes that to those two persons per point of view. So in even in there are so many problems in love marriages also, but if the both the partners are understandable. There is also one thing I would to like to say about arranged marriages is that divorce. Uh, as they have married so lavishly, their marriages happen, but there is also less chances of divorce. You cannot get divorced because both the family are so much involved, and it always arranged marriages always end up compromising one person. Mostly that is a girl, but there might be a guy also having compromises, as we have seen in Atul Shubha's case. He has to do suicide because there was so pressure from both the parties. He could not handle that pressure. So yeah, that's what I would like to say.
Thank you so much,
That's my
Uday. I'll now let Prince go ahead.
Yeah, great and multidimensional points by Uday. First of all, I don't think my opinion on this issue is a secret to anyone. So, of course, I do believe that it's really harmful. The arranged marriage thing is really harmful for anyone's married life, let alone happy. Uh, Firstly, we need to understand why this arranged marriage thing is happening in India, because uh, people in India don't actually respect the privacy and autonomy of the younger children, if we can even call them that. They are literally adults, but in most cases 20, 25 plus. And this idea of spoon feeding everything to their adult babies is kind of a negative trait that I don't know from where this Indian society got, and I assume that we should rather respect their decisions. Now, what this arranged marriage does is, as pointed out by the previous speaker, that people start living in silos, and this kind of feeds into the negative tribal ideas of regionalism, casteism, and religious fanatism. Now, I think the discomfort of these negative political ideologies comes because there's no point of contact between these different groups because of the way we live and the way we have literally segregated them away from our society. And I personally believe that the only thing that can break the chains of casteism is love marriage and intercaste marriages, because the more people contact with each other and they have a conversation with people, they'll actually realize that they are humans too. In most of the cases, casteism exists because we consider some people as inhuman. Now, I'll not go to what happens into the arranged marriage thing, because the previous speaker has already spoken about it in great lengths and breadths. So, uh, and by the way, the same thing can be said about interreligious thing as well, but I won't talk much on that due to obvious reasons. Now, what I believe is the conservative nature of India, the way that we Indians don't actually talk to our parents, and the parents are in this delusional ideology that they actually know what we want, but in most cases they don't. And when we pair it with arranged marriages being arranged marriages being the predominant way of marriage in India, then this is a direct recipe for disaster. And additionally, I do believe that arranged marriages is just a show of power by our parents. I mean, this is just a way to disrespect the autonomy that every individual has, or independence that every individual has. Rightly said by previous speaker, to choose their own partners, which I guess should be one of the basic fundamental rights. And do you guys remember playing with puppets in your childhood? You used to decide that which puppet is going to marry which one, and which puppet is going to have what kind of relationship with which the other puppet. And I guess arranged marriage is just that. The parents are treating their children as some sort of a puppet, and they marry them off to anyone they seem fit. And uh, yeah, I don't think a marriage cannot be happy if the foundations of that marriage is just to assert the dominance of a predominantly patriarchal class. Yeah, I'll add on to that as we go. Yeah, Rose.
Thank you so much, Prince. Next up will be Shahul.
Hi, yeah, myself Shahul. Actually, yeah, I'm also supporting love marriage uh, because the marriages uh, you should understand. I mean, the both partners should have the better understanding. Then only the marriage will work. Otherwise, it won't work. And also, I mean, I'm going to share. I mean, what is the problem in arranged marriage? Because actually, if you want to know the person, then you should have at least, I mean, it will take around 6 to 8 months, but 8 months or 1 year. But when you engage with some people, I mean, someone who is going to marry, so at the time you can't. get the person fully. Sometimes you always, I mean, talk with positive manner, and also if something goes wrong, then I mean the other person will get fear. But I'm going to share one incident, and also I mean the parents put so much pressure on bride or groom, so that's why if something goes wrong, they'll adjust, and they are currently adjust, and go I mean ended up the marriage, and after some certain point they will go for a divorce. And I'm going to share one example. It's not an example; it's a real life incident. So uh, before marriage, one guy and one girl, I mean, engaged. So at the time, the girl not aware. I mean, okay, this is. I mean, initially, uh, we don't have enough content to speak with them. So that's why, okay, after marriage we can talk. So after marriage, the girl tried to speak with him, the other guy. He is not interested because. Uh, After some point, he revealed he is a gay. So at the time, the girl totally shattered because he thought like, okay, this is the guy. I mean, maybe he might be a shy guy. So that's why after marriage, it will he. I mean, she thought it will work, but after certain point, she knows he's a gay. So, so the girl total, I mean, mentally depressed because everyone wants I mean, one girl is for one boy. So at that time, when she knows about him, so I mean, her family also totally depressed. So that's why my opinion is not everyone getting a loving partner before marriage, but before marriage, everyone has the rights because to choose a partner. So don't choose because of your parents, because parents doesn't know what is going inside between you and that guy. So my suggestion is, if you are going to get an arranged marriage, then you should speak properly, and also you should know the person better. So the relationship has three stages. The one is starting, everyone uh, is speaking with a positive way. The second phase is a fighting stage. The fighting stage, some person, okay, this person limit is up to this level, so we can manage if we get fight. Some person we can't accept because some person, I mean, if you get into the fight, some person will go to the extreme level we can't handle. So we can ignore that person before that marriage. So the third stage is the beautiful stage because everyone, I mean, the two person understand each other. So then they will lead a better life. So my suggestion is clearly, I mean, we should talk properly before that marriage, whether this marriage will work or not. Otherwise, it will end up a divorce. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rahul. Uday, please go ahead.
Uh, Wonderful. Uh, and I would just like to add the great point, good point added by Prince that a country has a big problem. I think there's a three big problem a country is facing right now. One of them is casteism, one of them is extremism in religion, and third is a regionalism. We treating different state and the people of a different state differently. So one of the best solution of this problem is, I think, love marriages, because the countries like Singapore has a different. Singapore has a 30% Chinese population, 30% Indian Tamilians who have went there, and 30% their native population. So the Prime Minister of Singapore have solved this problem by making them live in a one building, and allow marriages was a great solution. And US also had a racial discrimination that was also solved by love marriages. Right now, they have very less racial discrimination cases which is coming. So India, if want to solve the problem of religionism, casteism, and regionalism, love marriages could be a great way to solve that problem. and someone is writing about love jihad. So I want to just say about love jihad is that a girl has a girl is a grown up. A marriage only happens if girl is above 18. So, 18-year above girl has all the brain, might, and understanding to choose their partner, whether he is from any caste. I would like my sister to marry any religion guy, be it Hindu, whether he is from Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, or any caste, or any creed, or any person. Because I think my sister is a well equipped and a learned person that she could think and she could possibly choose the best person for him, and I would be in supporting him. That's it. That's
Thank you so much, Ujjwal. That was a really great perspective on it. And thank you for, answering the question. I don't know who asked that, but in the chat. So that was a very great answer to the question asked. And next up will be Sachin. But before Sachin goes ahead, rightly said by Alok in the chat, the topic is kind of being deviated, maybe not on purpose, but the topic really here is that are arranged marriages detrimental to one's happily married life? And not is love marriage better than arranged marriage? I mean, of course, you can bring up the pros and cons of each, but then foundationally, the topic is that are arranged marriages detrimental or not? So, thank you, Sachin. You can go ahead.
Yeah, so what I believe is there is no one kind of marriage which can be said as that this kind of marriage is going to be happy or this is kind is going to be detrimental. Both has pros and its cons. I think it would be inappropriate to discourage one and promote one. Uh, the point pros of arranged marriage is that uh, it is less likely that they will get divorced, and women from lower economic strata want security because it's very hard to manage their finances on their own. So for that security they would go for love marriage. In fact, if you see data you will find that uh, educated girls are going for love marriage, but uneducated and uh, girls who does not have job and financial security go for arranged marriages most commonly. So it is a way for financial security for women, but there is a very big con in arranged marriages. That is that arranged marriage only, if we look fundamentally, arranged marriage can exist only and only if one gender stop uh, raising his or her voice against any kind of uh, problem she faces from the family or other. And most in most common cases women face problems from family of husband, and she get mental stress, but she have to be silent because she can't go against them for very obvious reasons. Second issue is that lack of connections. It is often based on just attractions and very often we can see that fights go on, but it adjusts because women doesn't speak against their husbands. On the other hand, love marriage has a pro is that uh, they have very good understanding before marriage, but the problem with love marriage is that initially because they are in attraction and because of that they ignore red flags. Like if there is some negative thing which like one guy mentioned that she turned out to be gay, so people ignore all these kind of things in blind love. And So that's the tone of love marriages. And that, so overall I am in support of love marriages, because uh, love marriage has a very good understanding between couples, and it gives autonomy to women. In arranged marriages, women autonomy is often given up. So but in love marriage couples and youngsters should understand, and they should be pragmatic before going to marriage. They should ignore, they should consider all the pros and cons in their partners, and then they should decide. Overall, I think love marriage is gonna better, but only and only it is going to work if we accept the flaws in next person. And if we don't accept, very high chance that it will get broken, as seen in the divorce rates. And that's my point. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sachin. Prince, please go.
Rose, I'm really sorry. Can I go after like one or two people? Really sorry.
Sure. I'll let two more people go ahead and then you can join in. All right. So next up will be Jag Roshan.
Yeah, hello guys. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'd like to start with this that our this notion of saying marriages, that it's an important decision of life, right? So I like to question that thing, because I think the problem lies here, that we take it as an important decision, like there is no way to turn back, there is no, like, if it's wrong, you're done with your life. In this context, I like this Western society thing, where they keep switching. If they think their things are not working, they keep switching. I am agree that there could be, there are flaws, and there could be negative. It's positive pros and cons always, but I like in that manner. But they can't take it as a important, like, life dependable decision, right? So this is the first thing. Second thing, I like to question is that people, in throughout their life, people tend to change, right? Change. So when you are at the stage, when you are kind of looking for someone, or you're having some partner, but 10 years down the line, that person kind might be completely different, and you kind of end up being like on papers you are husband wife, but acting like a brothers and sisters, because you are kind of get irritated in a way. And this can be also uh, you know okay for, like, also applicable for this arranged marriage thing. I'm not going to that. And I like this Sachin's point on that, that both has a place in the world, like both has its it's not that one should get prior, one should get more, one should given more you know what was it, more likes, more over the other. Why I'm saying this, consider there are certain peoples, and I'm talking about in consideration of a man in that society, in this world, like what how a military person, like a man, is there, how he is going to find his love. How about a merchant navy personnel? How about like agents, like, we have seen Family Man. If you guys have seen Family Man series, that's Manoj guy. Like, and how about like someone who is living far beyond, working in somewhere, like how that guy is going to find a girl, or it can be reverse also, girl working somewhere, a woman working somewhere, where he's surrounded by that woman only, and can't have that access to finding, or so in that context, arranged marriage is the only option, because you don't have this luxury of finding looking for, or doing that stuff in whatever in the love marriage, love, doing the love first and going for a marriage, right? And last thing I want to say is that I think this that girls are kind of given. Someone pointed this that in a family, like they are just thrown up with like family. Mostly father decides like this is the guy, this is the groom, and now you have to spend your life. I think this is a something to do with this masculine driven society, right? Because man is kind of a caretaker financial. So once it's a finance is in the hand of a male, then a man in the house, then that person has more power. They try to influence more over other things, other members of the family. So I think it's when in current situation, if a female is working and have financial stability and that strong is there, then can, and she do definitely revolt with the decisions of this kind. So yeah, I'm just summing up with this things. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Jagroshan. Rohit, you're up next.
Hello. So yeah, I'm Rohit, and I would like to present a slightly contrarian viewpoint on all the points which all of my fellow speakers have spoken about. I am of the opinion that arranged marriages are not detrimental to the society. Before starting with my point, I would like to mention that our Indian cultural ethos is actually based on on strong familial ties, and the basic unit of that is the institution of marriage. The first point which I would like to mention here is that in arranged marriages there is a strong cultural fit, and therefore there's a better synergy between the partners. Also, I'm of the opinion that love can grow over time. Like if you can just manage your cultural fit and maybe your political opinions, shared values, etc., love will eventually grow over time. Also, love marriages are often based on fleeting emotions, which are very fragile and can go out of the way very soon. As against this, in arranged marriages, there is a strong familial connection, and that really avoids or stops you from taking some extreme steps like proceeding with a divorce. Also, there's statistics behind this that arranged marriages have far lesser rates of divorce as seen in India as against all the Western countries where love marriages are more common. The third point, which I would like to mention, is that usually young kids spend a lot of time on dating, and which that same time can be probably used in a better way to build a better career, and therefore lead to more financial stability in the future, which is the premise which often takes the precedence in any marriage at some stage, whether it is a love marriage or an arranged marriage. Also, I would like to mention that you as a kid have been raised all through your life by a family. So seldom will your family take any decisions which will affect you in a negative way. So you can definitely trust your family for doing all the spade work in choosing the right partner for you. Also, the purpose of marriage as is not just to procreate but companionship, and that too especially in the later stages of life, where often we see in the Western countries that people are lonely, and that is the leading cause of depression and many other problems like uh, dementia and so on. So, staying together and not allowing the marriage to split is the basic and the most important part of anything related to this topic. Yeah. That's my point of view. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rohit. That was a great perspective right there. I will now let Gagan go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to counter this if you
Sure.
so I would shortly answer his points. So first thing he said about is a culture that love marriage, sorry, arranged marriages are often seen cultural because they are cultural that they preserve the culture. I don't agree with that. A person with a love marriage also can. Also, 1 minute, I'm having a call. Sorry.
Wait, was that Uday speaking? I'm so sorry, Gagan.
Yeah, hi. I guess someone else was countering the previous
No, no.
speaker.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for that. I'll reset your timer and you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I think I have a very different view here. So for me, marriage, whether it is arranged or love, is not a guarantee of any happiness. It is about the people in the marriage who determine its success. So for me, I think in marriage we must recognize that the happiness of married life is less about how the marriage began, and it is more about the effort, compatibility, and understanding between the couple. So I will just speak briefly about these points. For let me just pick compatibility first. So whether it is arranged or love marriage, the couple's ability to understand, support, and respect each other plays a more significant role in determining their happiness. So some love marriages fail despite deep affection due to some mismanaged expectations which they find later on, and while many arranged marriages thrive because they have a mutual respect for each other. So we need to have a very consistent effort in a marriage. I would share a quote here. A good marriage is not something you find, it is something you make. So if we are trying to say uh, that love marriages are better or arranged marriages are better, I don't think so we can justify that by any means. The marriage for me is a partnership which requires a consistent effort. Love can fade or differences can arise up, I mean, later on, right? Because love marriage is more about infatuation which appears initially, and then later on the things might change. So now one more important factor is emotional maturity, which I mean individuals involved determines how conflicts are resolved. A couple in arranged marriage may face challenges of initial unfamiliarity, but emotional intelligence can help them to build a strong bond as they stay together later on. So, I mean, I would just close it by saying that marriages thrive when couples share common goals and communicate effectively. Whether it is love or arrange, it is the alignment of their aspiration which can foster the happiness. And so, for me, instead of focusing on the type of marriage, we should focus on the qualities that make it any marriage work, which is mutual respect, understanding, shared values, and commitment. In the end, a happy marriage is not determined by its origin, but the efforts of people who are involved in it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gagan. Great perspective on the topic. Prince, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Rose. First of all, great points by all the previous speakers. Uh, First of all, it is believed that, and studies also show that marriages play a positive role in mental health. But at the same time, there are contrary findings when we talk of arranged marriage. Now, coming to the topic, just to make better use of my time, I'll use the word IPV, that means intimate partner violence. Now, investigations have clearly showed that there is a huge gendered aspect of marriages in the arranged marriage setting, and it has revealed that women are less beneficiary from this whole setting. Now, why is it so? Because IPV are more common in arranged marriage settings, where they took the example of Nepal, where pairing it with the rare cases of divorce, uh, the IPV generate a very strong adverse consequence for the for the whole marital life, especially for women, and it has a very negative effect on the mental health of both men and women, and especially in cases of women because they think, or rather the victim thinks, there is no way to escape. Of course, there are both positive and negative dimensions of arranged marriage. You get better social security and stuff like that, but the whole setting, because unfortunately we are a patriarchal society as well as patrilocal society, and when a patrilocal society is mixed with arranged marriages, then women are at a higher risk of conflicts or IPVs. Now, all of these are scientifically proven hypothesis. Of course, in these things, you can never come up with a theory because there is a huge underreporting for the family pride. Now, one of the previous speaker rightly pointed out great points. I'll just like to address some of them. He said that love grows over time. Now, I'll just add a word to it that if the if firstly, is there an option in an arranged marriage setting? Do you have an option for the love to grow or not? And if the love is growing at this constrained setting, then is it love or just Stockholm syndrome? Now, I love that people bring this less divorce point, and it's beautiful because I do agree that there's less divorce in countries like India where we have prevalent arranged marriage setting as compared to the Western nations. But at the same time, the NFHS 5 data says that 37.2% of women face domestic violence, 87% of them within the first 5 years. And this is the data after a huge underreporting. Now, pairing it with the divorce rate of 2 to 3%, is the divorce less because there's a huge love and consensus between the couple, or is it just because they are caught into a setting that they can't free themselves from? Uh, Secondly, he said that because our family has brought us up and has done so much good for us, then there can be nothing negative that a family can do for us. I will slightly agree. Consciously, they won't do anything negative for us. But the fact that they are not aware of our personality types clearly shows in these issues. I mean, why is there a huge issue of 498A in India where 95 to 98% of the marriages are arranged? And if the family can never do anything wrong for their children, then why is this issue so prevalent in India? Additionally, I'll just agree with what Gagan said, that there should be mutual respect in marriage, no matter whether it's arranged or divorce. But mm, a, a marriage that was built on a setting that is clearly unequal, and additionally, I'll also say that arranged marriage is no devil and love marriage is no la la land. But at least the issue that comes with arranged marriage is you are already imprinting this idea into both the bride and groom's mind that the bride is always you know, the superior one and the groom is always the inferior one. Oh, sorry, the other way around. And this kind of creates a place where there can never be mutual respect. Yeah,
Amazing argument, Prince. Love listening to you quoting all the statistics there. And of course, like the part where you addressed the question of love growing, is it really love or is it Stockholm syndrome? I think that is a question we can never answer for the general population, but definitely that got me personally thinking about how these things work, right? So thank you so much for bringing that up. And next up will be Alok. Alok, are you there?
Hi, hi Rose. Thanks everyone for speaking up their opinion and giving me the opportunity. First of all, I would like to
I would like to bring the attention of the topic to the core point, which is why arranged marriage is detrimental to society, basically. And I would like to stick myself, and I would also request people who are speaking to stick to the topic, because there has been a lot of diversion going on. So, our first question should be, see, marriages happen in both sides. And yeah, one more notion, like previous speaker have spoken, and they have come with a notion that in arranged marriage people don't get the opportunity, or the girl don't get the opportunity to talk to the guy, or say no to the parents, which is not the case. This is a very old or archaic notion that we have got from maybe the film of the past. But right now, today, in this current era, it does not work like that. People, if you don't believe me, just go and have a profile in any of the matrimonial site. You will see there are plenty of girls who have going with the arranged marriage, and they have created their own profile, and they get the chance to talk and know about the partners, and they can even say no to their parents. So in this 21st century, let's assume, or in a place like city or in educated class, let's assume that this is not the case, that they don't get the opportunity. So let's assume, going further, that both the sides get equal opportunity to know each other, whether it's in arranged or in love marriages. So the question is, should basically be, when both the side gets the equal opportunity to know each other, and even after knowing each other for so long, let's say year or 2 year, maybe arranged marriages also takes time. It may take 2 year as well for some of the arranged marriage to work out. So the real question should be, despite having a level playing field of knowing each other, their likings, their dislikings, why one type of marriages work more than the other, which Rose has pointed out previously, that statistically it is shown that love marriage have a higher divorce rate than the arranged marriage. So we should be focusing on uh, this aspect of the question, that why one type of marriages work better than the other. So what, in general observation, it's my personal opinion again, what I feel and what I can tell you, that in love marriages, we have this sense of kind of egoism which comes into play, and which basically which basically stops us from, say, no type of relationship will work if we are, if we act in a stubborn way, and if you don't have the bandwidth, or understanding to uh, to appreciate different opinions, or listen to the some person, and their thought process, etc. So no relationship work if we have this stubbornness, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship with our parents, or whether it's a relationship with our spouse. So what I believe is, why arranged marriage tends to work more is, basically, in arranged marriages, the factor of egoism is very less in an individual, because of course, no, of course, in 21st century, nobody wants to go for the arranged marriage. Everyone wants to fall in love and then get married, because they think it's better and they prefer it that way. But since there are cases like this, when people are not able to find any love partner, and they go for the arranged marriages, so that leaves them very little scope to have, to put forth their demand, or let's say, uh, uh, whether it's a boy or a girl. So that gives them very little scope to show, uh, uh, what's the word I'm not getting, to basically, in arranged marriages, what happens in that particular scenario is, they feel, okay, I have not gotten, it's just an example, that the person think, okay, I have not gotten any love partner as of now, and I'm going for the arranged marriages. So let's it's better be working, it should better work, because I don't have any other options. But in love marriage, what happens is, the people, they tend to fall in love, and then they also tend to fall out of love as well. So they have this kind of backup plan with them, that okay, I can I can get anyone to fall in love with me, or um I can, if I'm not able to like it, I don't have to make this work
I'm
or
sorry to
like that.
interrupt, but
Yeah,
please wind up for now. You will be given another chance, given
sure.
your reason.
All right.
Thank you so much for your perspective.
Thank you.
Roshan, it's your turn.
Yeah, hello again. So, so I find this term coming up quite often, divorce rate, right? So I would like to question this thing only. Uh, I think divorce rate is very unappropriate, you know, thing to kind of use here, because you know someone just mentioned in the chat, what about this fact that people stay in abusive marriage because of they are stuck. So I think in Indian context, people tend to stay together because one partner doesn't have that financial freedom financially, not they are not active. That's why, and they kind of get stuck in the sense, if they leave that relation, then there is nothing in the world for them. So it's like, if they have the ability, if they have that suppose if they are financially strong, then they might not stay in the, like, they could have get separated way before, right? And I am talking this uh, uh, in from my personal experience, like, uh, I don't know how it's going to go, like my parents, right? So I see that uh, it might have not, like, my if my mother is there, so she is like housewife, right? If she is really earning, then they might have separated way early, like uh, eh, it is in this context. In the Western society, I think you can see that divorce rate is quite big, because they have that luxury, they have that freedom, that they can go apart and find another one, or whatever they want to do with their life. But in Indian context, where one is dependent on the other, then it's a whole other game. Like, saying that divorce rate is less in India, I think it's a very inappropriate, a very vague term to say. If we just go ask people how your relationship is going, you might end up being some other figure. So yeah, I think that's the thing. And yeah, another thing that I like to point here, like, I asked a question. People tend to change through their lifetime, right? People tend to change. So what's the point of looking for a person? Uh, like, I asked in the first thing, when I said first, but I haven't got any answer. But I like to reiterate it again. People tend to change. Like, the person who is right now with you might be something else, because the course of the life, some event happens, something, and their perspective going to change. Anything can happen. So what's the point left in finding or looking for the person at this point of time? I think it's yeah. So yeah, that's all from my side.
Thank you so much, Roshan. I see Old Radio raising his hand or her hand, I'm not sure. Please go ahead.
Hey, hi. Um, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So what am I speaking is just my personal opinion. I still respect the all the others' views and perceptions on the discussions. Um, the topic is arranged marriages are detrimental to happy life. Yes. And then if you ask me if the love marriage are detrimental to happy life, then also I will say yes in both cases. But the chances of quarrel, if something, everything goes smooth, nobody talks about it. Let's say if the infrastructure and roads are good, they talk less about roads. Only it comes to debate or discussion when something is not working or not good. So if you're talking about marriages, the arranged marriage is a surprise. The arranged itself says that it comes with a lot of surprises, and you don't know much about the opposite person, the couple. Okay. So love marriage at least have a time frame, or space to understand or interact with one to other person, so though at least know and understand the flaws and good things about life. Now in the arranged marriage, when the problem comes, the first thing the person start pointing to lot of attributed the problem, the what the causes of the problem. They start pointing to the other family members or the situations or the scenarios or the whatever it caused, and then somebody else indulges into and response. They don't take it. They always see it as a negative person, whether it's a bride or groom. They keep on blaming on no, it's because of that, your cousin, or no, it's because of this happened, you could have handled that, but you could have handled this situation, you didn't because of the other person. In arranged marriage, at least the same problem comes in the love marriage as well. But what happens is, since they know and understand, now it goes to a point and then stand where whom to blame, and then they cannot blame themselves, right? They know that okay, I also have a mistake in that, at least 40% of my mistake is also there, but they don't accept it. And it takes time, maybe 1 month or 2 months, based on the what the problem is, and then they accept the problem, and then they go carry on, like, because they have committed, right, that those two people decided that they are going to marry and they understood. So the time heals that, and then, but in arrangement it doesn't happen. If there is a dispute or a problem comes, it goes on, it goes on, and they don't accept, like most of the people, and it goes until the court, and the court goes to years. And there are lot of hundreds of thousands of cases in domestic courts that goes on for years, and they are never solved. And if you see what the case is all about, it's just blaming one or the other families. This, and it goes from the problem starts from the person between the two couples, and then it exposes to the families, two families, and then the two families escalates, and then escalation goes into the level that they cannot accept now. Okay, it goes into the certain level of escalation that now I cannot accept you, because there is a lot of um, things happen. And then when people go to court, it's not always the real things they talk about. They start talking about all the false things, and then that becomes true, and then it eventually goes to a situation where you cannot accept it. So basically, coming to back to the original point, that are arranged marriages detrimental to happy life? To some extent, yes. Compared to love marriage, I would say love marriage also have some problems. And yeah, an arranged marriage definitely has more detrimental compared to the this one, love marriages.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks.
so much for your perspective. Prince, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Rose. I'll just address some of the points previous speakers have said. Uh, One of the points that have been repetitive is decrease in divorce rate means the marriages are working better, which is absolutely false. I addressed that earlier as well, but uh, let me try to give a different perspective. Now, again, it's old data of 2011 census because the new census is pending. Uh, the divorce rate in 2011 in India was 0.11%. And just looking at the just looking at the data from the same year, the percentage of married people who were separated was 0.29%. Now, this huge difference clearly shows the stigma that is associated with divorce, that people are ready to live separately, but they are not formalizing their divorce because of the way divorce is looked at in society. Now, additionally, I do agree that marriage is a game of compromises, but we need to make clear distinction between compromises and exploitation. And I'm pretty sure it is not a game of exploitation. Now, NCRB clearly said that SC caste women who are between 15 and 24 years of age and have no formal schooling are the most abused in the whole of nation, both physically and psychologically. And several studies clearly show that the divorce rate is on the rise in the educated and affluent Indians, uh, which clearly does not resonate with the most abused ones. So I'll just say that if the greater lot of nation, because SC is one of the greater populations of India, which forms the base of the pyramid, if the greater lot of Indians are unhappy and abused in a relationship, which based on data were most likely arranged ones, then why is divorce rising in the more educated and affluent ones? Because they can get divorced without any social stigma and social pressure for them. So I don't see how divorce has anything to do with the idea that the marriages are working better. The marriages in India are bad. People are depressed, living in broken houses, and not getting divorced just because of the social stigma that's attached to it. We recently had a debate on the same topic, and if anyone can link that, or maybe I'll link that in the chats, and you guys can see the great depth of discussion we did on the same issue. Now, again, I'll just go back to my original stance that arranged marriage is not devil and love marriage is not la la land. But we need to address the basic idea in arranged marriages that you treat one party as supremo and the other party as subjects of that supreme. The whole idea, it's patriarchal society. We are following patrilocal ideas. So you create such a huge extent of inequality in the society as well as in the minds of the individuals that they feel entitled to kind of abuse the other party. And of course it's related to the mental health as well as the physical health of the victim, because one party is almost entitled to do anything to the other party, whereas the other party can just sit as they're just sitting ducks. Anything can happen to them, but they have no voice to speak in the society because of the pride of the family or the state, because divorce is looked as a demon in our country. Yeah, Rose.
Thank you so much, Prince. So personally, after listening to everybody talking about the actual topic at hand, are arranged marriages detrimental to one's happily married life? I think majority of them, from my own personal opinion, yes, because most of the times, not generalizing, what I've seen personally, most of the times there is some sort of coercion or mild forms of brainwashing involves, mostly for women, but sometimes both parties or sometimes just for the men, right? So the foundation or the commencement of a relationship that ideally is supposed to last a lifetime is starting out with coercion or some sort of brainwashing. I think honestly it becomes detrimental to one's well-being inside of a marriage, and it really comes down to if the arranged marriages was out of two partners meeting each other for the first time through their family or some matrimony app, whatever the case is, and then understanding each other for a certain time period before getting married, or even if they did not have the chance to, if willingness and of consent towards the marriage is involved, I think it may work out, it may not work out, depending on how both the partners are willing to work through their relationships, their problems that they're going to have inside of a marriage. But end of the day, if coercion and brainwashing is involved right before the marriage is even commenced, I think that becomes very detrimental to not only happiness but also the mental health of both partners involved. Because even if one partner has consented and the other has not, the way the other partner who was unwilling acts will somehow impact the other partner too. So I think in that scenario, I think arranged marriage arranged marriages will be very detrimental. So that was the perspective I wanted to put out there. Anybody who'd like to speak next? Yes, please, Jagruti.
Yeah, hello guys. So uh, I think there should be a there is two kind of arranged marriages, right? One where it is arranged by family. Let's say it's arranged by family, whether we use app or something. But partners are given chance. Partners are given time to know each other. And the other one that I think is what we are talking about is the other one where they are not given the chance. It is just imposed. Like it is not what we use the word. It is imposed basically. Like families find to other person and they just impose like you have to marry this person. So uh, we should be just sticking to this kind of that this is a harm, this is the detrimental, this kind of the second kind of arranged marriage is I agree that this one is detrimental because it has no kind of a blank uh, no, you can't see future unless you go into and find the other person compatibility matches or not matches and all. So yeah, that was my point.
Thank you so much. Hari, please go ahead. Hari, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Okay. So so like I think it's a good afternoon. So I'm not aware of like I had just joined, so I'm not aware of the points that were made. So what I think regarding the topic is that I would say like it depends. Like both like a love marriage and arranged marriage has its own advantages and disadvantages. I would say. So what I mean in the sense, in terms of love marriage, like personally, they can build an understanding between the couples. Okay. So for example, a man and a woman, they are loving together. They are understanding them for a let's say for example some amount of time. Let's say it might be an year or 5 years or some amount of time it they are having more understanding between them. A tight bonding is building in place, and they can see uh, basically they can understand and respect each other. Okay, so in that manner they can lead a good future in the future sense, or they might break at some point. There might be an argument arise which are not compatible with them, and they can get apart from each other. So these kind of things might happen in a love marriage sense. So and also in an arranged marriage case, the families are getting more involved to like make the binding between as a family. They will be coming together. They will be there are in Indian culture we will be having more kind of rituals and practices, and there are a set of things that we will follow in place to make things like work. Okay, like for example, if the marriage is about to happen, then we will be having series of steps. First they will go and speak. There will be some time to get matchings and all these kind of things will be happening. So I would disagree with it is not detrimental in the sense it doesn't like basically in most of the divorce cases or in recent times how it happens is either it can be an argumental way, or they are they are having views from the both the men and women's views are not aligning when they are in love or something. Sometimes it might, they will see the one side of their like part. When they see the other life, like the whole part of them, that might be somebody can accept it and somebody will not accept it. This is not what I want, or this is not how I wish to live. So in that case, an argument arises and they will get apart. So in arranged marriage, what I would say is that, like, in the argument will not be something like, okay, you are like, most of the arguments you are not like, there are some incidents in my life happened, not my life, my neighbor also it happened, something like their status, like their financial status becomes a problem. Okay. So in the sense, like, in the girl's family, they are a well-to-do family, and the boys is a middle-class family. During that time, so as in a love marriage, they thought that we will get together. I am not seeing any status or something like that. But after marriage, somehow they are getting, and due to some arguments, they are getting clash, and it went to a divorce in the sense. So yeah, it both the things have advantages and disadvantages. But I would say arranged marriage is a very good thing, I would say, in my point of view. Yeah, that's what my point to say.
Thank you so much, Hari. Next up will be old radio. But before that, I'd like to inform you guys that 12:30 will be the end of the moderated session of the debate, and post 12:30, the recording of the session will be stopped, and there will be an unmoderated session, which will be a discussion, more of a discussion than a debate, and it will not be recorded. And so, in maybe the thing is, um, every week we have come up with this new thing that the unmod session will not be recorded, so you will be free to express views that you may not have expressed here due to it being recorded for whatever reason. So there is that. And since it is almost 12:15, I would like for people to come up with their concluding statements or conclusive arguments, and then we'll be moving into the unmod, which will be unrecorded. Old radio, you can go.
Hey, hi, thanks. Uh, yeah, I think somebody also said that indulgence of others other than the couple, maybe the parents or relatives or anybody, that should be bring down. That saves a lot actually, because um, I don't know the facts. Based on the facts that love marriages are having more number of divorce, then that's a different, altogether different subject. Because to apply for a divorce, we need a ground actually. I mean, if you don't have a real appropriate ground, we cannot apply for the this thing. And I think mostly in love marriage they apply for a mutual divorce, and then it passes on. And then, but in arrangement, mostly one person need a divorce, but that person cannot get because of the legal system in the, what's the ground is, and based on what you would get the divorce. It's true that most of the couples in our country are stuck in the marriage. They want a divorce, but they couldn't get because of the system, how it process, how it um, legalizes, and how it proceeds with the case to case on that. And yeah, what I would conclude is, like, if you love marriage would be morely framed to only two people, and if we leave only two people, then even the dispute arises, it goes on with the time, and then they get carry forward, uh, and the issue resolves in that. And then people who wants the divorce is real pain, and it feels a liberation for them if they get the divorce, and which most of them cannot actually in the current system. They are just spending some years and years and years in that, and there are a lot of things, extreme cases also happening in these cases. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody else? Yes, please, please.
Yeah, I'll just conclude by saying that independence is one of the things that we all crave as basic human rights, and uh, especially creating a system where men and women both are unhappy. That is not something, at least I envision in marriage. Marriage is something that should be a safe place. And if people are not safe, both physically as well as emotionally, in the case of men and women, then I think we need to bring some serious changes. And I've got, of course, no substantiation for it, but the huge issue or almost an epidemic of mental health issues in India uh, is kind of, according to me, related to the cognitive dissonance that people are facing because they are becoming more and more educated about their rights, about the conditions that they're living in and global situations. And when they compare that with their households or their living conditions, then that creates a very bad situation for them. So I guess that is one of the basic causes of the mental health epidemic that India is facing. Yeah, Rose.
Thank you so much, Prince. I see that Gagan asked where he can access the recordings of the session. So I've linked the website of the debate club in the meeting group chat, and you can find it there among other resources. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Jagroshan, that's your turn.
Yeah, hello. So my takeaway of this from this session is what I just written in the chat also, that it's about whether the people know each other before their marriage or not, right? It's not that a love is good, arrange is good. It's just that, like, even if they're given the chance, which I just mentioned before also, if they're given the chance to know each other, it's kind of fit in love, because now you've given chance and you have accepted, okay, we will live together. So it's we can just put it in a love category, right? uh, so yeah, that's my takeaway, that it's really that this is detrimental, that if they don't know each other and they have been pushed, they have been thrown to each other, and this is really a curse. Like, it should get eliminated in one way or the other, whether some rules, some law, or something. So yeah, that's my thank you.
Thank you so much. Hari, you can go ahead.
Okay. So I would like to conclude my statement in such a way that so everybody, like most of the people, like everybody are not good at loving a person, like an opposite gender or same gender or whatever it can be. So everybody are not good at in that. Okay, so some it works for somebody, it will not work for most of the cases. So like in that cases, whether that person do not deserve a marriage, that is not it is absurd, right? It cannot be in that way. So in that case, there is another option, that there is an arranged marriage. They will be having a good life. They can lead in another way also. So in a biological or a, like in an aspect of a life, in the sense a marriage is a like a crucial part in everybody's life. So not everybody, most of them like will go in that path. So in that specific, there is an option between these two things. So in that case, arranged marriages are also very good to the society. It because it 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 gives like a more structured manner of like a society. And there it has its own disadvantages as well. But I'm in most of the cases in Indian culture, we it is how it will be, like both the families come together and they will do that in the sense. So yeah, it in most of the cases, that is the reason we have very less divorce rates. Okay, the the dispute or issue
coming between the both the person will be very less in most of the cases, because everything getting aligned, you cannot blame anybody or something like that. Until or otherwise it is more serious issue between something like that. So I would say, yeah, like arranged marriage is also good for our society, but there's another option, like you can go with the love or something like that. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Thank you, Hari. Anybody else who has a concluding statement? If anybody else has a concluding statement to make, you'll have to raise your hand using the reaction button. Yes, please.
Okay, I'll keep it very small. I heard few of the participants talking about 498 day and disputes and everything. I and the their argument was that because of arranged marriage 498A or dowry cases are happening, but as per the Supreme Court of India, 98% of dowry cases are false. And there's no evidence to say whether these cases are happening because of arranged marriage or love marriage. So I think pointing out about the disputes, dowry cases, 498A, I think it's irrelevant for this topic because there's no evidence to show which type of marriage is leading to these kind of incidents. Thank you.
Thank you, Gagan. Anybody else? All right. In that case, this will be the end of the moderated debate session at 12:30 p.m. Once the recording stops, it will be the commencement of the unmoderated session, which will be more of a discussion than a debate. And you're free to express your viewpoints in there as long as you're respectful. So this is the last chance if anybody still has a concluding statement. All right, guys. Thank you for being here, and that was the debate session for today. Once the recording starts, that will be the commencement of the unmod session. Prince.